welcome to this video. I have not yet decided what I'm gonna call this video. It is obviously a vlog. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome to my channel. It's a Saturday and as always, it is a busy weekend, but I'm going to try to slow down and be very mindful of the day. So far, I had a good morning. I did some yoga. I've been trying to do yoga every morning, and so far it has been going okay. I follow Adrienne. Her channel is Yoga with Adrienne. She has videos that are less than 10 to 20 minutes, and I usually end up doing those 20-minute sessions, and I find them to be really helpful, very easy to follow. If you haven't checked out her channel yet, I would highly recommend it. Anyway, I have a packed day ahead of me. As you can tell, I am totally dressed to step outside. That's because I have to go to the library today, return a book that I borrowed 2 weeks ago. And I want to just show you this book before I return it because I think it's one of the most prettiest book I've ever borrowed from a library. It's Poems to Live Your Life by, and these are illustrated by Chris Riddell, chosen and illustrated by Chris Riddell. It's just so beautiful. Look at the cover. Every time I look at it, I find something new in it. Look at this little birdie here. Anyway, it is a good collection of poems. I kind of disagree with the title Poems to Live Your Life by, but they are really interesting poems. I found some new poems that were really good, and I absolutely loved the illustrations. They are so good. There's one that I want to show you. I'm looking for that one. Look at the illustrations. There are some classics here in here. To Be or Not to Be is one of my favorite. It's not a sonnet, it's a poem by Shakespeare, and it's from Hamlet, one of my most favorite plays by William Shakespeare. It's not the favorite. Actually, it might be the favorite that I've read so far. I haven't read all of his, but it is really beautiful. I just loved these illustrations. It's just full of beautiful illustrations. I like that they are not in color. It just kind of makes the poem stand out more than the illustrations, but the illustrations definitely add to the experience of reading the poems as well. Very beautiful. So if you're looking for a beautiful book to own in your own personal library, I would recommend this. It's by Pan Macmillan. Utterly beautiful, and there are some lines by W.B. Yeats. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and return this to the library, and I'll pick up another book. I haven't decided what I'm gonna pick up next from my library. Well, you never really know, do you? You walk into a library and you'll go look for a book, and that book is just never available. So I think I'm just gonna walk in and look at some of the recommendations. Last time I saw there were some good non-fiction recommendations. I might pick up a memoir or a reference book, something to just kind of scheme through, because I don't know if I'll have time to actually sit down and read an entire non-fiction. So I'm gonna run to the library. I'm also planning to walk to a beautiful garden here, which is right on the banks of River Thames. Am I saying that correct? I know English call it Thames. I just can never say it. Anyway, you know which river I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go to the banks of that river. On the way back, I am gonna pick some flowers and some bread from the market. I live in a market town, and I have never lived in a town. I've always lived in cities, so it's just a very different vibe during the weekend, and I want to go and buy some good sourdough bread. and focaccia if there is any left by the time I am there. Anyway, so that's the plan. I'm currently reading a very atmospheric book, so I'll come back and talk to you more about that. Also, I have been reading. I want to talk about the Daily Stoic. I want to recommend this book to you all. It's all about Stoicism. So there is one page per day. Every page begins with a quote by a Stoic philosopher, and then there is very short explanation or sometimes guidance. And today is all about awareness. You know, how many times we really commit ourselves to doing things which we really do not want to, just because sometimes it's because we feel the pressure of agreeing to do something, right? And are they truly necessary? Are they adding value to your life, to someone else's life? You know, and it's all about being aware of how free you truly are. This reminds me of another philosophical thought that I picked up in this book. It was about something to do with how we are slaves to our own emotions. You know, we don't want anyone to tell us what to do with our life, right? We don't want anyone to force us to commit to something which we don't want to do. Then why do we let ourselves be slaves to our own emotions? Like anger is one that is so easy to kind of creep into us, right? It just rises and it just like bubbles up and explodes, right? We are slaves to our own emotions, and why do we let that happen? So are we truly free? Anyway, awareness is freedom is where we're going today. Anyway, last time when I was out, there were a few signs of spring. There were daffodils and these little yellow flowers and white flowers on the trees. I have no idea what type of trees they were. Probably cherry trees, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna go out and see what other signs of spring I can spot today. Because honestly, I think we all are done with winter and we could just do with a little bit of more sunshine and more life and color in our lives. So let's hope I find some more signs of spring outside today. Okay, I think I should head out. Hello, I'm back from my walk through the town. I did walk up to River Thames, and there was a park there, a very small one, but it was littered with bird poop. I don't want to blame everything on the geese. I think it was a mixture of geese, duck, and gull poop, also pigeon poop. So anyway, you don't need to know all the bird poop that I came across in that park. Anyway, it wasn't a very pleasant place to sit and observe the river. Yeah, so I just kind of walked along the river a little bit. It was a nice walk, though. I came across more daffodils and yeah, not many flowers in bloom as of yet. So I guess we'll have to wait another week or so for spring to fully in full force. Or maybe not. Next week it's going to snow, I think. Yeah, I think it's going to snow next week. I hope it does. All right, anyway, and then I went to the library, I returned the book, and I got 2 books. First one is My Italian's True Story of Crime and Courage by Roberto Saviano. He is the author of Gomorrah. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, it's about organized crime in Italy. Yeah, so if you have watched my previous video, you know that I just read The Godfather by Mario Puzo, and I absolutely loved it. Now that was obviously fiction, but I am curious, so I thought I would pick up this book. So when I was researching about the mafia, Roberto Saviano's name popped up quite a lot of times. He wrote a book in 2006 or 8, and the name of the book is Gomorrah. And after the book was published, he received a lot of threats, death threats, and ever since then he has been surrounded by bodyguards, and he basically and he does not live in one place for a long amount of time. Basically, he is on the run from the mafia, from all these criminals about whom he wrote an expose. So I want to read this. It is described as being deeply personal. I don't know, I'm really curious to read this just to know how criminal organizations exist in today's world and how it mainly affects the good people, right? The citizens. So I want to know more about that. How much is because of corruption, and really how deep are its roots? What is the solution to such a big problem, to crime? And the other one I got is Blood Ties. This one is about Italy's new mafia. So it tells about the workings of the mafia, of this new criminal organization unit. And yeah, I always find such books fascinating. I'm kind of looking forward to reading both of these. I think I should be able to get through these pretty fast because I am curious, and I think that's always good when it comes to books. At the moment I'm reading this book, Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. This is a very atmospheric read. In this book we follow Ruby May, who is known as Nurse May, who is basically a nanny in 1904. And she takes up a position in North Yorkshire at a house of a very strange family. So far, there's definitely mystery surrounding the family, and there's also some mystery surrounding Nurse May. She's responsible for taking care of a boy, 2 girls, and a toddler. And the family dynamics are very strange. She herself has a secret which we don't know about, so there is definitely some mystery there. I'm liking the setting. It's set in North Yorkshire. This is the second time that I've picked this book up. I picked this one up last summer and I just didn't finish it. I think I read maybe 3 or 4 chapters and then I didn't read. It was possibly because I was not in the mood of reading, but I'm liking it. I'm on page 135 and I'm going to continue reading it, and things are starting to get really interesting in this. So if you're looking for an atmospheric read, I would recommend it. This is also one of the most beautiful books that I own. It has the most stunning cover. Whoever did the cover did a really good job. I like the spine as well. Now I'm gonna have my lunch and then I'm gonna go back to reading this book, and I'll catch up with you before I go to bed. Welcome back. I was editing this video today, and I realized my intro was so dull and I sounded so unenthusiastic to be here. I apologize for that. I don't know why I sounded so dull. Maybe it was too early in the morning. I have no idea. I do not recall, because a lot has happened when I filmed that video and today when I sat down to edit the video. Anyway, I later on filmed more videos explaining more about this book, but I realized I just didn't do justice to this book in those videos. So I thought I would redo this part where I would like to talk about this book. It has been a difficult week. After finishing this book, I picked up Anne of Green Gables because I wanted to read something very comforting while I was just dealing with my health issues, which always seem to pop up every now and then. But I'm feeling all right now. I'm doing fine. But I want to make sure that I do talk about this book and I do justice to it, like I said earlier. But before I start talking about this, while editing, I noticed that I talked about this book, but I didn't really tell you what book this is. It's The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. It is a really good book. I would highly recommend it. All you have to do is read one page a day. Ryan Holiday also has his own YouTube channel, so go ahead and check out his channel if you haven't already. That's what I wanted to show you. The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Highly recommend it. Very good. If you are into philosophy, or if you just want to dive into philosophy, or if you want to live a better life, I recommend this book to you. Let's talk about the next book, The Italian. This is obviously a book that I borrowed from the library, but I did read a couple of chapters in this book. It feels to me like I should have read this book after reading Roberto Saviano's other book, Camorra. Roberto Saviano is kind of giving us a glimpse into the mafia world in not only in Italy, it's not only in southern Italy, but also how it kind of stretches up to the north and how it impacts everyone's lives. It impacts everybody in Italy, irrespective of whether they are in any way connected to the mafia or not. Roberto Saviano, he definitely comes across as a man, as a person who really loves his country, and he is a journalist, so this is his way of fighting by enlightening us about the mafia and how it impacts everyone. And it is definitely gripping. Let's talk about Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. Where do I begin? I have some notes. This time I've taken some notes and I want to kind of make sure I cover everything. First and foremost, if you're looking for an atmospheric read, if you want to be transported to the 1900s, early 1900s, Yorkshire, beautiful setting, I would recommend this book to you. Highly recommend it. There are so many small things that are kind of explained in this, little things that were used back in the days, that kind of that just transported me back to a time where obviously this is the only way that I can go back in time, right? I think one of the reasons why that was so beautiful was also because of the writing. So polished, which was surprising. I wasn't expecting such good writing, really. Sometimes I find historical fictions really tiresome to read because a lot of writers spend a lot of time describing the setting. I think it partly comes from a lot of research that the writers need to do in order to write their story. But I think real good writing is when the focus is still very much on the plot, on the characters, and yeah, on the story, and not kind of trying to shove their research into the book just so. That just doesn't work, is what I'm saying. And this book was so good. I felt truly transported to the time without being bored. Having said that, I did not like the protagonist. The protagonist, Nurse Ruby May, has a lot of problems. She has a lot of problems, and we kind of find out later on why she is the way she is, but it was just not fun following her. And that doesn't mean the book was not good. The book was really good. What made this book interesting to me was Mrs. England, and so I think the title of this book is fair enough. Because this lady, Mrs. England, and her husband, Mr. England, they just kept the story really interesting. They just made me want to read more and more of this. It's a mystery, an atmospheric read. The mystery carries on till the very end, and then when you think, oh, okay, so that was the case, and then you reach the last paragraph of the book, the very last paragraph, you are kind of forced to rethink everything that you thought was true. So even though I found the protagonist highly annoying, I still enjoyed this book. I think if you liked reading Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I'm not saying this is similar to Rebecca, but if you like those kind of books with, gothic setting, mystery, I think you'll like this very much. Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. I think I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. Not quite a 5-star. I think Rebecca is a 5-star for me. Rebecca is amazing. This was good too, but it's a 4.5 stars. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you've read Mrs. England or if you find it interesting and appealing, please let me know that as well. And thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Until then, take care.